Thank you, Cisco. Good afternoon, members of the fourth estate and our distinguished guests. Welcome to today's special edition of our regular press briefing here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. Today's briefing will be presided by the Deputy Minister for Technical Services, Minister Daniel Otis Sando. Minister Sando will give his introductory comments and introduce our guests. Minister Sando.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the press. We are happy to again see this opportunity. The Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. The press briefing is gaining momentum. It has become an effective medium through which government communication is being channeled to the people of Liberia via the mass media. So we are happy to be here again. Today as announced yesterday, we have as our distinguished guest the Director General of the CSA, Mr. Josiah Joekai. Mr. Joekai is accompanied by Mr. Darrington A.P. Smith, or one of the deputy at the Civil Service Agency. Mr. Marvin Yankru, let me welcome you. Before we invite Mr. Joekai to the podium, we'd like to speak on a few issues. As announced yesterday, the President, His Excellency, Ambassador Joseph Joekai, convened a meeting with the importers and members of the business community with the sole objective of making timely intervention in what was announced as a pending increment in the price of rice on the Liberian market. The President, in his wisdom, met with the importers yesterday, and the Executive Mansion has accordingly announced that the pending increment in the price of rice have been averted as a result of the President's intervention. Follow-up meeting to that meeting from the Mansion yesterday is currently ongoing with the Minister of Commerce, the Ministry of Information, and other relevant agencies that are concerned. They are currently meeting with the importers to work out the modality in enforcing the President's mandate. Like we indicated yesterday, we cannot politicize the rice crisis. We cannot speculate about it. We have to desist from doing so because it's a political commodity. We do not want any instability. And that is why the government didn't create room for any speculation. The government took siege of the matter from the very beginning, and it is being resolved. And we are calling on members of the public to listen to what the government has said. There's no increment. And if there were anybody in your community who is involved in holding the products, the rights, or increasing the price arbitrarily for the purpose of exploiting the situation, we encourage the public to report any such incident to the authorities. The Ministry of Commerce is involved, the Ministry of Justice, to the LNP, they are all involved. And this is meant to keep the country stable. So we commend the President for his intervention. The fear of the population, the fear of our people can now be alleviated. There will be no increment. The Ministry of Commerce are being informed. After the meeting today, we will speak to the Liberian people to inform them the outcome, to inform the public on the outcome of that meeting. Until anything to the contrary occurs, we are hopeful that the situation has been resolved as a result of the intervention by the President. That being said, I'd like to announce that His Excellency the President, Ambassador Josiah Joekai, and the Cabinet, heads and deputy heads of state-owned enterprises, SOEs, autonomous agencies, commissions, deputy ministers, and assistant ministers will participate in a 4-day mandatory retreat at the Ellen Johnson Salik Ministerial Complex in Congo Town, Monrovia, from Thursday, May 23rd to Sunday, May 26th. The retreat is being held on the theme Coordination and Performance, delivering on national agenda priorities. Why is the retreat important? The President 100 Day have been concluded. The report on the assessment report on the President 100 Day plan has been published to the public. The Liberians are talking about it. The President is not going to stop there. Like we said, the 100 Day action plan was an immediate intervention. The 100 Day was time-bound. It had elapsed since May 1st. This retreat, as the objective indicates, is geared towards the formation of a national development agenda. The objective of the retreat also includes reinforcing the President's agenda, where the President will communicate his vision in his opening remarks to a wide range of officials in the administration. Initiate conversation on the formation of a new national development plan. The 100 days have elapsed. We have a report. We are now going to start the conversation on the formation of a national development plan. And this plan is what the government is going to use to project for developmental agenda for the next 5 years in the country. The retreat, one objective of the retreat also is to promote cohesion and coordination and enhance the process of government. Coordination among cabinet ministers to foster collaborations towards realizing the government visions and priorities. The retreat objective is also to further transparency and accountability measures to track performance across government sectors. Encourage team building. The cabinet retreat foster a sense of camaraderie and networking among members through team building activities and informal interactions. Relationships can be strengthened, leading to a better collaboration and decision-making process. At the end of the retreat, it is in anticipation of the President that the retreat will be very successful, and it is imperative that all members of the cabinet and heads of other agencies attend and actively participate in the deliberation. So it's a 4-day retreat that will be held at the ministerial complex beginning Thursday, tomorrow, and we look forward to see you members of the press to provide coverage for the opening section of the retreat. That being said, we will now invite to the podium the Director General of the CSA to make his presentation, after which we will afford you the opportunity to ask your questions, and he will provide response to those questions. Mr. Director General.
Thank you, Minister Sander. As usual, it's a great opportunity to always address this MICAT press briefing. Minister Yempu, I also want to thank you for your support. Today I'm here with the Deputy Director General for Human Resource Management and Policy at the Civil Service Agency, Honorable Darlington A.P. Smith. I am also here with the Communications and IT teams from the Civil Service Agency. Because today is going to be different, the presentation is going to be different. We're going to be doing a PowerPoint presentation because what we're going to talk about is something very pragmatic, something practical. As I was speaking, I saw my professor and senior brother, Honorable Alare Tokwa, the chair of the Governance Commission. Honorable, I'd like to welcome you. Right. So today, as I indicated, we're going to be doing a PowerPoint presentation because what we want to talk about is something practical. And we want you to see exactly what we're talking about, not just me standing here and reading as usual. So I'd like to welcome all of you, the media, those in this room and those watching from home and abroad. This is a great opportunity for you to learn about the work we are doing at the Civil Service Agency in terms of reforms that we've initiated. We are going to be doing this periodically. As you know, I don't know, Minister Sando, is there any other agency that's appeared here more than the CSA? I'm not sure. Since March. I think this is our fourth or fifth time, and we really appreciate it. That tells you the strategic partnership that the Civil Service Agency and MICAT has. We appreciate it because it helps to promote the kind of things that we do. We have dispel some of the myths, the misconceptions and misunderstandings around what we do. Because what we do is transparent, is credible, and we are accountable in the process. So we want the public to know that, so we promote that. Today we're going to be providing updates to you on different reform initiatives. So I don't know if I have to stay here or come close.
You can see the microphone.
Right here.
The microphone. Take the microphone.
All right. You want to, the microphone, can we detach it or I can just come and speak without the microphone?
WS.
All right, okay, thank you. So, yes, I think I can stand right here. All right, so we have an overview of our presentation. Wonderful, thank you. Thank you so much. We have an overview of our presentation in terms of what the presentation covers. So we have the implementation of the Auditor General's recommendations from the 2022 Payroll Compliance Audit Report. So I provided you an update here before some time ago that when we took over, we immediately started implementing some of the Auditor General's recommendations that are pretty much straightforward. Those are the ones that don't require multi-sectorial efforts, meaning that we don't have to engage or work with other agencies to implement them. So we'll tell you about those. We also took some non-payroll audit actions in terms of actions that are not related to the recommendations of the Auditor General. And then we also told you about so many employees in the civil service who did not complete their personnel action notices. We talked to you about that. We told you there was around 40,000 of those. And we also told you that we were going to institute measures to work with those individuals so that we make sure that we regularize their status, making sure that, you know, they're legitimately employed and that they can enjoy the rights and benefits pertaining to their jobs. So we'll talk to you about that. We will also tell you about the start of the consultancy process across all the spending entities. Today we'll be announcing that officially, the start of the consultancy process. So we will also be talking about the salary advance. That's the 50% for civil servants. We've been working with commercial banks to make sure that our civil servants can have money to be able to do anything they want to do at any time, and they don't have to wait up to the end of the year before they can receive their little salaries they're receiving right now. At least that's a positive step from the start. So there's a new thing that is coming, the credential evaluation, verification, and background checks. It is, you know, within our purview as a civil service to make sure that everyone who we employ in the civil service, you know, meet the requirements set forth in our instruments, in our laws, and in our policies. Part of it is to make sure that we have the right people with the right character, the right reputation, the right credentials. We want to avoid or prevent credential falsification, and people who we employ, we don't know, so we want to prevent that. So we want to institute that measure too. And then we have a summary of Black employees in terms of those actions we've taken on the payroll so far. So here we go. So implementation of the Auditor General's recommendations from the 2022 payroll compliance audit. The first action, and this action is critical. We also want to welcome the Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System, Honorable Eugene Fagon. He is also a strategic partner to the CSA, really supporting our efforts. Honorable Fagon, we want to welcome you.
Thank you.
All right. So the Auditor General report, as I provided in my initial updates, electricity? All right, so the Auditor General's initial report. Yes, wonderful. So sorry folks, we have to readjust a little bit because of the electricity situation. So the Auditor General recommended that 9,287 individuals were unverified during the audit, the payroll audit that covered 2018 to 2021. When the report was released in 2022, the Auditor General recommended that those 9,287 individuals be blocked on the payroll, on the national payroll. Those individuals were not blocked up to the time we took over. Interestingly, we decided to take action. We worked with the GSC and realized that the GSC, during the 90-day window, was able to verify 2,000 plus individuals from the 9,287. The remaining 6,815 individuals are still on the payroll. They are unverified individuals, and we are spending up to $2.5 million monthly to service that group. When we block those individuals, we will be saving the government from losing $2.5 million monthly and $30 million annually. That's what we'll be saving. So the CSA is going to block the 6,815 individuals. which constitute 11% of the wage bill. That is very critical. Another group of individuals, those I'm ready to talk about, are individuals who were black as of March. And none of those individuals have come back to the CSA and say, I'm a real human being. I'm on a payroll, I'm working. The first group of people are those individuals with shared bank account numbers. I'm sorry, electricity, when it comes, we wanted to put everything on the screen for you to see. There are 122 of them. Meaning, Eugene Fagon, and I'm going to use them as examples. Alaric Topa, Darlington Smith, Daniel Sano, they are on the payroll, but they have one bank account number to which their salaries are going. Yes, but they are not complaining. Every month, they take pay, but they don't tell me, Director General, I didn't receive my salary, even though their names are on the payroll, but they all have one bank account number to which their salaries are going. So as of March, we blocked the 122 individuals on the payroll. March, April, they didn't come back to say, Director General, we are human beings. The second group of people in that category are those illegitimate individuals who are being paid through mobile money channel. They are 127 in total. And I really wanted to show you this. That's why we wanted to do a presentation. Because you will see something interesting. Josiah Joekai Jr. is double dipping. He's on the payroll, he's paid through mobile money, but Josiah Joekai Jr. works for Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism as data analyst, and he is being paid for that on the payroll. And I'm strategically saying on the payroll because I'm not sure he's a MICAT working as data analyst. Then the same Josiah Joekai on the payroll is working for Ministry of Mines and Energy as a statistician. He is being paid for that, and he's paid through mobile money. The same Josiah Joekai. That's double dipping. So we have 127 individuals who have been paid through that process. As of March, we blocked them. We blocked those individuals. They also have not come to us to tell us that we are real human beings, so please pay us retroactively or put us back on the payroll. They have not. They have not. So those are the three actions we have taken so far. Those are the three actions we have taken so far as the Auditor General's recommendations are concerned. There are several other actions we take in terms of implementing the Auditor General's recommendations. One action we are taking through a multi-sectoral approach is the migration of the payroll from a system called ATAPS, the Alternative Temporary Automated Payment Systems. It's called ATAPS. That's the system we are using currently. So it was recommended by the Auditor General that we migrate the payroll from that system to a new system called the CSM, the Civil Service Management System. So we have a task force that includes the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, the Civil Service Agency, the General Auditing Commission, and the Internal Audit Agency. That task force is working currently to make sure that we get the correct data, accurate data, and make sure that missing data on the payroll are found and put back on the payroll. And when we clean the data, we will move the payroll from the ATAPS to the CSM. Why do we want to do that? The CSM system is efficient and capable enough to reduce significant human intervention, so that people at will and by themselves are not just dumping names on the payroll and assigning pay. So that's what we want to move from the ATAPS system. The ATAPS system right now allows for Josiah to do that, allows for Darlington to do that, allows for Alaric Topa to do that. So we want to prevent that. So that's why we're working on the payroll migration process. That's one action we are working on. We are taking collectively those sector institutions that I mentioned. So what are some of the non-audit recommendation actions we have taken? When I appeared here before, I told you about the 98 fictitious names that we identify on the Liberia National Police payroll. 98 names. And the 98 names that we identify since March, the Civil Service Agency blocked the 98 names since March. We did not waste any time. And we didn't do this all by ourselves. We worked with the Liberia National Police leadership to block those names. So it's been March, it's been April, now it's May. None of those 98 individuals have come back to us to say that we were legitimately on the payroll. Now that's what I'm talking about. The 98 illegitimate individuals, that's under non-audit actions against the following spending entities. So those were blocked since March. We have not seen anybody to come back for verification, any of the individuals concerned.
Why you keep putting the level?
So the second group of people are from the Liberia Land Authority. We work with the Liberia Land Authority to identify 41 illegitimate individuals who were on the payroll. We immediately blocked them in March, and none of those 41 individuals have come back to us to claim that they are real human beings and we should pay them retroactively or we should put them back on the payroll. Looks like we're having a little glitch. Okay. Good. So then we move to something that is critical and the whole country wants to know about. Because when I came here and announced in one of my briefings that we identify about 40,000 individuals who are on the payroll, but the Civil Service Agency does not have personnel action notices for those individuals, and we were going to take measures to work with the legitimate ones who are on the payroll and working, and we can identify to regularize their status. There was a big uproar. It was like the government wants to fire 40,000 employees. No. Our circular that we issue does not even mention anything about firing anybody. The overarching goal is to make sure that the CSA accounts for all employees in the civil service and make sure that people who are receiving salaries are people who are on the job and working to merit that. That's the way we bring merit-based system to our service. That's the way we professionalize our service. So since our last briefing, Honorable Minister, when we appear and talk about that, the CSA has elaborated what you call the Employee Status Regularization Project. So under the Employee Status Regularization Project, there are two phases. Phase one is to make sure that we identify all of our legitimate employees on the job across the more than 103 spending entities. And the way we design that aspect of the ESRP is to conduct comprehensive and forensic hair counts. The hair counts encompass physical identification, taking your photograph, matching your documents with what we have on records. And I see Honorable Fagon nodding his head. Right. And the reason why he's doing that, because currently our team is at the Liberia Broadcasting System conducting the hair count. We'll also have a team right now here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism conducting the hair count. So the hair count covers the following: the physical identification and counting, analysis of the attendance records of the institution. We want to know those who are outside taking pay, out of the country, stay on the payroll taking pay. Those who are in the country but don't go to work and stay taking pay. That's burden on government. They are not working. They should not be paid. Not at all. They should not receive government's money. Then those on sick leave, also taking pay. Some of them, the sick leave, the stipulated sick leave period is over. And it's been over like 2 years, 3 years, but they are still on the payroll. Some of them, the study leave period has been over 2 years, 3 years, they are still on the payroll. So this process helps us to identify those kinds of people, do analysis of how much government is losing to those people, and then make sure that we stop it immediately. So far, we conducted hair count at the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, and together with the Ministry of State and Presidential Affairs, we identified 10 unverified individuals and we blocked them immediately. We did that without the current app that we are using. So there's a likelihood that we will go back. That was purely manual. There's a likelihood that we will go back to the Ministry of State to make sure that we capture the exact data and we take the actions necessary. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and this is central, Ministry of Foreign Affairs here at the central office. This does not include the Foreign Service because the CSA does not have purview over that. So we were able to identify 28 unverified individuals and we blocked them. That's the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with the acquiescence, the consent of the authorities at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. At the Civil Service Agency, my own agency, we conducted a hair count and we identified 14 unverified individuals and we blocked them. That's also at central office. At the Ministry of Mines and Energy, we are finalizing the report, but can we go to Mines and Energy data briefly to just look at what it looks like? We're not going to show you names. We just want you to see, a picture, that will let you know exactly what these reports look like. I hope you can find that. So basically what it does, the report tells us the number of people unverified, the number of people on sick leave, the number of people on steady leave, and then the number of individuals whose attendance record shows that they should either be dismissed or they should be suspended or they should be warned. So here, for example, at Mines and Energy, this category is for the attendance record analysis. That's the report. Take, for example, you see over there 0124, that's January 2024. The second column is 02-2024, that's for February. 03-2024, that's for March. So employee number 1 in the first row, for the entire January, they didn't go to work. Number of days, I worked 0. For February, they did not go to work, 0. For March, they only went to work for 3 days. So you see where you see base, the column that says base, that's the number of stipulated days you should be at work for the 3 months as an employee of that institution. You see days present, the total number of days present for that individual is 3 in the column that says days present. You see days absent, that person was absent for the 3 months for 58 days. They did not go to work. What is the percentage of days that they did not go to work? 95% of their time was spent outside the job. And our rule, the law says 14 consecutive days absent from work is dismissal. That's automatic. 14 consecutive days is dismissal. So in this category, look at the number of people. Let's concentrate on the column that says days absent. No, days absent. Look at it in red. Look at the number of days people are absent from work. 58, 48, 50, 55. The recommendation we are making to Mines and Energy is that all these people will be relieved of their job in keeping with law. This is now witch hunt. This is scientific. This is the data. The report is not finished yet, but this is just meant to tell the Liberian people what we are doing through the hair count process when we come to your entity. It's forensic. We ask for all the legal documents that gave you the job. You bring them, you identify, you are verified, and we go into your documents. So you see over there, 55 days you're now on the job for 3 months. 58 days you're now on the job for 3 months. 53 days you're now on the job for 3 months. That's outright dismissal. And once the minister takes action and sends copies of those communications to the CSA, immediately we remove all of them from the payroll. That is just for the Ministry of Mines and Energy. Can we go back to the slide, please? Now, so that's Mines and Energy. Liberia Institute of Public Administration. We are also finalizing the report. But if you can show us, is that LIPA? Yes. Yeah, can you just wait the way so that we see? This is also for LIPA. You see over there with black, no names. Because right now the report is not finalized yet. When the report is finalized, we will unveil the names. And the only time we do that when the head of the entity receives the report. So for now, we just want to show you the data to tell you how forensically we are doing this. So, for example, the first person in the first row, in January, what happened? They didn't go to work for a single day. In February, they went to work one time. In March, they didn't go to work at all. They're supposed to be at work for 61 days. Number of days present, what happened? 1. Number of days absent, 60 days? Are you kidding me? 60 days? They didn't go to work at all, but they got paid. Because we checked the payrolls. We also asked for the institution payrolls and follow up. They were paid. That individual was paid for those 3 months. Government paid the person. So, this person 1, absent 60, what's the percentage of their time absent from work? The percentage. Look at that. Let's go back. Let's go back. And we'll go to the savings. But let's go back to the spread on the left. Let's go back to the spread. Look at the spread there. Look at 98% right after 60 in red. 98% right there. That's the percentage of time they were off the job. Then this recommendation, trust me, is dismissal. That person is going to be relieved of their post. And for LIPA, we have up to how many in that category? Go down, let's see the total. Right there. So 36 in that category, 36 individuals. Yeah. And that is legit because it's keeping with the law and policy. So then, what's happening? The employee's total monthly salary is what? 33,000. That's what we get for that's for LIPA. And what percentage with black? With black 54. And that is for the institution LIPA. That's just LIPA. That's not the overall. 54% with black. The action we took constitute 54%. So let's see the employees, the next column. So black employees, the total, as I just told you, is what? 36. You see it there. The percentage of our action is 36.7. So how does that affect the payroll? So the monthly, let's go to the right. So you see that monthly salary is 61,000 before action. The current monthly salary is 27. So reduction. The annual is 332. That's for the entire institution. Then let's go move to the right. So 98 total. That's the workforce. So let's go to the right. After our action, you have 62. That's what we were able to reduce it by 62 just for this action. So this report will be going to the LIPA boss, and the leadership will make a decision. It's not CSA. Our role is to tell them this is the status of your personnel. and then we take the action. I know Prof. Topa is looking at me like, I wish you can come. And then we have the National Center for Coordination and Response Mechanism. Now, this institution, we're trying to bring the employees to the national payroll system. They used to be paid through grants, but also by the government. But we're trying now to bring them to the payroll system. A little bit of history. This institution used to be the early warning system. It used to be directly under the offices of the vice president. So ECOWAS worked with the government. They transformed it into a functional agency. Even though the vice president's office takes charge of the board. But this institution, we're trying to bring them into the payroll system. But we're not going to bring them into the payroll system without understanding the status of their personnel. So we ran straight there and did the head count. This institution, the report has been finalized. We have it. Now, a total of 24 individuals have been removed from our payroll from this institution. 12 of those individuals were unverified. Unverified. They are people who's supposed to be working. Is that the institution? Yeah. Okay. So you see that. Look at some of the salaries they were making. The first person was making $300. Salary, is that Monday? Yeah. So you need to times that by 12. That's what the government was paying them. Yeah. That's $8,000 per month for the entire group. So recommendation is dismissed. That entire group is going because they are not there. We don't know them. We didn't see them, but we're taking pay. They are on the payroll. So we have the second category. 12 persons. The second category, another 12. They are pure ghosts. Those are the ones taking the 1,700, 1,800, 742. That's the group. These people, they don't even know where NCCRM office is located. But they will be paid this amount. How much? 5,776. Which category is that? All right there. Yes, that's the same group. So for October, that's the amount we lost right down there, 5,776. Let's go for November, $4,048. For December, $14,156. What is the total that we lost? That's $23,980. Now, here is the situation with this number. This number, we did not only remove them from the payroll, but we are, as I speak to you, we are drafting a communication to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, asking them to ask the head of the entity. I'm told that they just appointed a new head, but the former head of the entity and the controller to account for $23,980, representing payment to individuals who don't exist. LACC will have to launch a full-scale investigation and advise the CSA on the outcome. Let's go back to the slide. So then that's for the employee status regularization. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? We are doing this first. That's the first phase of the whole process of regularizing the status of employees. Now, those who will be identified and verified as legitimate employees, but do not have their personnel action notices, CSA is going to work with their HR departments to give the personnel action notice forms to all those employees because it's their right. It's their right. Because you don't have the personnel action notice doesn't mean that you should leave the job. No, it's your right. You are working, you are there, we have verified you, we will give you the forms because it's a set of forms. You fill out all the forms, the TDG HRM will sign, the principal administrative officer will sign, and all the other people involved will sign, and the director general will approve it. With that form, when finalized, it tells you your pay grade. At least you know with dignity, you know what you are working for. Nobody will just give you an employment letter and tell you your pay is $100 before you know. You wouldn't know because you don't even have pay. And the law says that every employee in the civil service must have a completed PAN. What the PAN does is that it tells you your pay grade, It tells us your qualification, your competence in terms of skills, knowledge, and experience. It tells us your core value that must jive with the job for which you were hired. It tells us who your next of kin is. I bet many of the thousands of people who don't have pens, they don't know who their next of kin are on the government records that can benefit in case something happens to them on the job. In case we have to retire you, where do we get your data from to send the information to NASCO? So that is why we have to regularize the status of our employees and account for them so that they can enjoy the rights and benefits of the job that they are doing. That's what we're doing now. So the second phase will be on the paying process. When we stood here, we said we increased the months from 3 to 4 months, meaning 120 days, because we want to use the first 2 months to do this headcount process across all the entities. After that, we know the legitimate employees. The second phase will be to go and give them the PAN so they can regularize their status. Let's go to the next slide. So here we go. Next week, where are we going to be? Next week, our teams will be at the Monrovia City Corporation. Monrovia City Corporation has around 900 to 1,000 employees who are on the payroll. I'm not talking about contractors who are paid through goods and services. No. 900 around there, we're going to do the headcount. John F. Kennedy Medical Center, we will be there. Our team will be there. They are also around the same 900. We will do the headcount. Ministry of Labor, we will be there. Ministry of Labor, our team will go there. They will do the headcount. National Bureau of Concession, our team is going to be there next week. And Governance Commission, I know Prof. Alare Topa can smile a little bit. Our team will be at the Governance Commission next week. So we have 5 headcounts that we'll be doing at the same time next week. This week, we are doing the Ministry of Health. It's ongoing right now. We are doing the Ministry of Information, Culture, Affairs, and Tourism, where we are the next room when you get out before you go home. Just go and see the team working there. We are at the Liberia Broadcasting System. Honorable Fagon, you just want to say something about what you saw at your place? Just 1 minute.
Sure.
Just 1 minute. Yes.
So, good afternoon. Cleverly, I think this is something the media should run away for about a week. You have seen for yourself what is going on across the country. So, the process takes about 2 minutes maximum. And I mean, when I say 2 minutes, 2 minutes. So, here is what happened. They asked me to bring my appointment letter. I did. This is it right here. They scanned it. After scanning it, they asked me for my national ID. I give it. They scan it, put it in the system. They asked me for my NIR or Social Security.
That's a unique identifier.
They scan it and they put it in the system. The reason why I became emotional and came here is because I worked in the previous government for 3.5 years, almost 4, you guys know. So when they asked me for Social Security number, I went to NASCO. Behold, they did not have a Social Security number for me, and they've been taking the money from me ever since, for almost 4 years. How is that possible? I should have had a Social Security number. But anyways, today I'm happy they issued me one, and they gave me a new card. And I think I spent 2 minutes, the entire process. As I said, I gave the letter, they scanned it. I gave the 2 IDs, they scanned it, and they got verifying teams along the way. Just because I gave you the letter here does not mean after they upload it, you're clear. They take your picture and put it in the system. And then you go to a third person that will look in the system. The person has nothing to do with the person uploading, taking your picture, getting the information. They have nothing to do with those people. They now, when you face them, they look in the system. They look at your picture, they look at your letter, they look at your ID, everything jive, everything corroborates each other, and they say, thank you, good day, see you. The good thing is, I can share with anybody here, is that Spirit get ID card, Ghost get ID card, and then we can call Spirit Ghost. So let us help our country. I think you can see how much we're saving. If we're able to take off the ghosts from the payroll, we're able to hire young men and women graduating from the University of Liberia and other institutions. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the start of the consultancy process. So you remember we came in this room again, the minister and his team gave us the opportunity. We were able to talk to you about how we want to reform the consultancy regime across government. We told you that just in the last fiscal year alone, the government lost $6.1 million to consultancy. And I told you that even at my own agency, CSA, I sent for the folders of the consultants, 18 consultants. There were no valid contracts. There was no reports for services provided, no performance appraisal reports, nothing. So what we did, we immediately elaborated policy guidelines to govern the consultancy process. His Excellency the President, Joseph Joekai Sr., graciously launched the policy and encouraged all spending entities, more than 103, to work with the Civil Service Agency to reform the consultancy regime across government functionaries. So this is what we have instituted, the 7 procedures. And as a matter of fact, today I'm announcing the start of consultancy, meaning that every spending entity will follow these simple procedures to do their submissions. First, the spending entity. When we say spending entity, for example, is like Liberia Broadcasting System, Governance Commission. The spending entity will conduct need assessment because you got to know what you need consultancy for. You need to identify the gaps that you want to address. So after the need assessment, they will submit terms of reference and a requisition form to the CSA. So the terms of reference is just about what the consultancy will be about, what areas of skills or knowledge you need to breach and everything, or to scale up. So you submit that to the CSA. Then the CSA will review, adjust, and classify the TOR based on tier ranking. In the consultancy process, we have classified the different consultants that will be providing services into 3 tiers. We got tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So when you submit your TOR, then we do the classification, we do the adjustment. Then CSA and the spending entity will ask you to submit an expression of interest. We all know what that means. You want to do the job, you think you are qualified, convince us. Then CSA will evaluate the expression of interest, the CV of the potential consultant, and then we will do the shortlisting. Now it is the CSA, for example, LBS or GC, will work together to conduct the interviews and select the qualified candidates. Now the CSA and the same institution will negotiate and award the contracts. Those are the simple steps for the individual consultant. Now for the procedures for hiring a consultancy firm, we will follow the same procedure, but we'll change along the line because we are moving from individual consultant to consultancy firm. So because there are procurement activities involved there. So the same thing, you will conduct the assessment, what you want the firm for, and you submit that terms of reference. The requisition form is already in the policy guideline that was launched by the president. You send it to CSA, we review, we adjust, and where applicable, and we get back to you. And the CSA and the spending entity will request for proposals. This time it is not EOR for the individual, it's request for proposals from the firm, and then we will evaluate and shortlist potential firms, and then we will negotiate and award the contract. That will be the CSA and the spending entity involved that needs the service. So how is this going to be managed? So we will have a consultancy steering committee. Now, we're going to have 5-member steering committee. We're going to have 3 persons from the CSA and 2 persons from the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. We are already working on that. We've already rated the Ministry of Finance, and we are working harmoniously with the Ministry of Finance on these matters. So the steering committee will provide overall guidance and will meet quarterly to review and advise the consultants on the consultancy process. So that's all we're going to do. It's so simple. Those are the simple steps and procedures. But as of today, I want to announce that spending entities can now begin to do their submissions to the CSA for this process. So the consultancy technical secretariat, I didn't want to talk about this, but let me just let it, because this falls directly in the purview of the CSA. So it is our technical consultancy team at the CSA, and it's headed by the Director General for Administration, Deputy Director General for Administration, that's Daniel Nyanye. So all consultancy matters will go to that technical team. And the team responsibility will be to review and evaluate all terms of reference and consultancy requisitions in keeping with the policy guidelines that was launched by the President. They will evaluate consultancy proposals, keep a full record of the number and types of consultancies provided to spending entities, and provide quarterly updates and reports to the consultancy steering committee. So we have a whole regime on this consultancy process. It's not going to be loose. We're going to follow the books, and we're going to make sure that we get a value for money. And you provide any services, we'll see those reports. Those reports have to be consistent with the terms of reference you provided. All right, so another big one, salary advance, 50%. So about a month and a half ago, the Civil Service Agency in EcoBank, Liberia, launched what we call the Employee Salary Advance, 50%. So that process is being rolled out as we speak. Civil servants who have accounts, salary accounts with EcoBank, they are able to take up to 50% of their salary at any time. And they are able to pay back in 30 days. They will pay back with the record lowest 3% interest rate. There are people who go out to individual borrowers and take money and pay in 2 weeks with interest rate of 10%, 14%, 20%, 25%, and it's still happening. So we're saying, no, we can subject our civil servants to that. So let them be able to take salary advance. Even if they are going to pay back something, it should be very small. EcoBank is rolling that out for all customers who are our civil servants. So then we also said, but if we don't take quick action, we can see, huge numbers, flocking to EcoBank from other commercial banks. We don't want our civil servants who have salary accounts with other banks running to EcoBank, changing their banking institutions. So then we had a meeting. The Civil Service Agency had a meeting with the heads, the presidents and CEOs of the other commercial banks who are paying civil servants on behalf of government. We had our meeting and we reached an agreement with those 5 banks. We have the Liberia Bank for Development and Investment. We have the United Bank for Africa. We have International Bank, Limited, Guarantee, Trust Bank, and Afriland Bank. We met with them. They also agreed to launch the same 50% salary advance for all employees who have salary accounts with them. And those employees will only be paying the same 3% interest rate when they are paying back after taking the advance in 30 days. Now, at the meeting, it was so interesting. We even had some jokes, we traded some jokes. So, UBA was like, okay, so we can even do 2% at the meeting. And LBDR was like, okay, if you do 2%, then we will do it free. Yes, so, we did that, but I don't know if that is what they will do, but it was just, jokes that were being traded. Why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing this up to tell you the extent of the interest that those banking institutions have in this initiative, which is very important in terms of helping to improve the economic standing of our people, making sure that they have money at all times, increasing their purchasing power, so that they are able to put food on their tables for their families. They are able to pay their children's school fees on time, even with the meager resources that they will have, but they should have it anytime they want to, do stuff. So, this one is being worked on. This one is credential evaluation, verification, and background checks. It is in the purview of the CSA to vet the credentials of all individuals who want to work in the civil service, classify positions in the civil service. It's our responsibility to vet your credentials and to check your background, to make sure you have the right credentials, you're not falsifying credentials, you're not presenting false credentials to us, and to make sure that you have the right reputation and the right character required for the job. The CSA, I don't remember doing that to the best of my recollection. At the CSA, we have drafted a policy manual for credential and integrity audit and background checks. We are going to finalize that draft by May 29th. That's next week, Wednesday. And subsequently, in 2 weeks, we will launch that manual. The launch of that manual means the CSA will start to vet the credentials of people in the employ of the civil service and do background checks. Because our classified positions require surely academic qualifications, apart from other professional skills, like you have certificates that requires that. We have to make sure that you have it. Not just that you have it, but you have the right one that is authentic. Don't ask us about the expertise to do it. We have it. We have a group called CVETS. They did a comprehensive presentation on the credential evaluation, verification, education, and background checks. That group is working with WES, the World Education Services in the United States of America, that is responsible for doing exactly what we're coming to do. That group is working with them directly. That group, they can vet documents from anywhere in the world. That group is working with India, #1 credential evaluation institution. In fact, the president of that institution in India came to the country and even did a photograph with me and posted. That's the extent to which we've made progress towards that. That group is working with the credential evaluation system in South Africa. That group is going to help provide expertise on that. So we have the expertise. Mind you, we will also work with Liberians who have been making efforts to make sure that credential evaluation, verification, and background checks becomes a reality. So we will be working with those Liberians wherever they are. We will work along with them. So I want to let the Liberian people know that this major reform is coming, and it's coming very soon. So we are going to be the guinea pigs. Those of us who are already in the employ of the civil service. We're not going to say, oh no, it's going to start with new people we are employing. No. We are going to be the guinea pigs. We are going to make sure that our credentials are verified, are authentic. Those on the job right now, directors, deputy directors, assistant directors, supervisors, coordinators in the civil service, we will vet all your credentials. We vet everything to make sure that you comply with regulations. You comply with our laws and our policies. So that's it about the credential evaluation and background checks, and I hope you can wish us good luck on that one too. So here is a summary of the actions we've taken so far. So the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, we blocked 10, and the monthly salary, when I say 10 individuals, the monthly salary was $6,269. And the annual salary is $75. That is what we have removed from the payroll. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we blocked 28. Monthly, we're losing 15,000, and annually we're losing 190,000. Liberia National Police, we blocked 98. Monthly, we're losing 15,000, and annually we're losing 188. Liberia Land Authority, we blocked 41. Monthly, we're losing 12,000. Annually, we're losing 145,000. Ministry of Mines and Energy is going to be 57 just for one category. That is for attendance record analysis. But Ministry of Mines and Energy is more than that, because we got a good number of people who are going to be suspended without pay, who didn't meet the requirement for attendance, but also who are not qualified for dismissal. There are those also that will receive warning letters. That falls in the purview of the minister and his team. But we just want to let you know, give you a picture of where we are. NCCRM 24. I already told you about that. We're not only removing those 24, we did not only remove those 24 names, but we are also recommending for investigation. What happened to the almost $25,000 that went to people who don't work for the entity? The Ministry of Justice, 38 individuals, and we were losing 4,000, and then annually we're losing 49,000. Ministry of Education, This is just the mobile money aspect for Ministry of Justice and Education, because Ministry of Education, we are currently conducting the head count at the central office. We are currently doing that. Report has not come out yet. So imagine when that report comes out. So Ministry of Education, the 84 just representing those who are on the mobile money. And you know the interesting thing about the Ministry of Education, those on the mobile money, they all had the same salary, 160, the 84 people. All of them had $160 that what was taking. All of them, $160. So purely, those are not real human beings. So the civil service agency, a total of 14, we're losing 9,000 every month, 9,737, and then annually we're losing 116,852. We block those; they're no longer there. The civil service agency mobile money, full persons, 196. We're losing $2,000. We'll remove that. So just from this little, this small, which does not encompass all the actions we have taken. Because remember I told you about the 6,815 that we are going to block. That amount will be saving $2.5 million monthly when we block. And annually, it's going to be saving $30 million. So we're going to work with the Governance Commission to get the total number of individuals who were verified from the 9,287. We set that aside. We set that data aside on the payroll. They were verified. The 6,815 unverified, we will block all. They will not be taking pay from June. We will block them. And that number constitutes 11% of the workforce and the wage bill. So when we save $2.5 million just because of that number monthly, and save $30 million annually because of that number, that's a significant saving to the government. So that saving plus what you have here, $1.9 million, which we have saved so far, $1.9 million, without us going to the government to say, give us money to do it. This is purely through innovation and creativity. That's the part I want to add. This is not something we requested for budget given to us to do this. No. You see the things that we have dispatched at all the government ministries and agencies is on our own account. We do, that's a secret, I'm going to tell the public, we do contribution to do that. So we have elaborated a comprehensive employee status regularization project, and the budget for us now to go across the country and do Ministry of Internal Affairs comprehensively, Ministry of Health comprehensively, not just the central offices, Ministry of Education comprehensively, all of the outstation employees for LBS, for Governance Commission, for Civil Service, the total budget is $244,000. $244,000 is just peanuts to be able to save millions, for us to save millions. We're not asking for millions to save millions. We are only asking for a little amount to be able to save millions in about 2 months. Save the government. And we have no doubts, trust me, we have no doubt that the government is going to provide that money. The $200,000, the $244,000, that the government is going to provide that money as quickly as possible to ensure that we save millions, we streamline the workforce in a professional way by removing the discrepancies, the redundancies, and the inefficiencies, making sure that we have a professional workforce and make sure that we have a wage bill that is acceptable. Then we will go to the biggest thing everybody in the country waiting for, which I announced when I was taking over, that we will do a bi-weekly payment. This salary advance is a prelude. The fact that we are succeeding with the salary advance, that employees are able to take 50%, just at 3%, is a prelude to celebrating bi-weekly payment. If the guys take $500 every month, the person receives $250. They don't have to pay a cent in terms of interest rate because it's their right. So let's support these reforms. Let us not be distracted as a country. The president talked about the rule of law. Rule of law means transparency, accountability. We will implement that. The President General talks about that. The President General talks about education. We will have to do that. But to do that, we need the money to do it. Nobody should be in India, Nigeria, Ghana, the United States, Cote d'Ivoire and calling me and begging me, this is my only source of livelihood. DG, please don't take my name from the payroll. Just the head count that we have conducted at a few entities, I get calls every day from Liberians in those countries that I named, because they are calling and telling them that they are about to remove you from the payroll. Some of them being in Ghana for 2 years, they are on the payroll. I've received 5 calls from India alone. They are all on the payroll. They've been there for 2 years, 3 years, they are being paid. They don't work. Some of the places where you saw 1 per month, they are just friends that once a while can write their name on the attendance record and sign for them. But they are not in the country. They live in India, the government of Liberia pays them. I received 3 calls from the United States, 2 in Philadelphia. They're on the payroll, begging me not to take their names from the payroll. They're receiving pay. They got 1 in Baltimore who called me practically crying. How the sick parent is here, that's the money they depend on to be taking care of the parent. And if I take that away, it's going to put additional strain on them. How long have you been in Baltimore? The person tells me they've been there 2.5 years. They are on the payroll. They are on the payroll. They're taking pay. Government is paying them. For Ghana, it's every day. They are in Ghana, they are on the payroll. Government is paying them. Just from the few entities that we have done the head counts at. That's the result. We have not even released the reports yet to the heads of the entity for them to hide. There are people already calling and telling them that they are about to take you guys from the payroll. They've been enjoying this for years. This is not a Liberia that we all struggle for. It's not a Liberia that we want. That's not a Liberia that we envisage. We envisage a Liberia where you will work and enjoy the benefit of your citizenship and be able to beat your chest and say, I love my country. When people from other countries boast and proudly say that they love their country, it's because of what the country is doing for them. It's because of the social services the country is providing for them. We can only do this, we can only succeed when we are realistic. And I will end with this, Honorable Minister. A lady comes to me and say, my son, I'm working to so and so ministry. I'm not going to call the ministry name. The lady makes $125. I want you to increase my pay. I say, okay, Mama, I understand. I say, but we are working on this for the entire government. We're doing something called pay grade, the new pay grade system, so that everybody at the different levels can be taking the same pay. I cannot be in the cabinet with my colleagues and they're taking more than me or I'm taking more than them. No. We have a pay grade that will make sure that everybody at the same level will take the same amount. The pay grade to make sure that when you are administrative assistant in Ministry X, administrative assistant in Ministry Y must take the same thing. We have to enforce that. So I told the woman, I told her, so we'll do that. She said, but my son, the other thing I came to you for, I beg you. They put talking about you too much, yo. They say the things you're doing, they don't like it. So I'm scared for you, I beg you. I said, okay, you want me to take action so we can increase your salary from 125 to something that will make you satisfied? She said yes. I said, but let me give you an example. On the payroll, we get 9,287 percent. Every month, that group of people can take $3.7 million. She screamed. She said, what? I said, yeah. I said, and we don't know them. I said, so you want me to leave those people on the payroll? She said, no, take them from them. I said, but then why you say you're scared? Because if I take them from them, the people will say, come after me. So we joke about it. The point I'm making is that we have to be resilient if we want change. Other people did it in their countries and they succeeded. We are proud when we go to those countries and see what they are doing. But when we're coming back, soon we enter our airspace, we're feeling bad. Why our airport is the way it is. Why our water and sewage system is the way it is. Why our electricity system is the way it is. Are we efficiently making use of our resources and rapidly making use of our resources? This is the opportunity we have. For me and my team at the CSA, we are committed and dedicated to this process. We are unshakable in this endeavor. We are resilient. Nothing is going to change. The reform will come to the civil service and the public service. Thank you, Honorable Minister, and thank
you. This is focused on Liberia, online television, and that was the general direction.
Before we take questions,
giving us updates on
Before we take the
what's going
questions,
on.
I have earlier informed you that
And let's have a good time together.
the Minister of Commerce and other agencies of government were meeting with the importers and the business community on the rice issue. They just sent me a press statement, and since we have a full house of media practitioners here, I will read verbatim what they have sent me before you can put your question to the CSA boss. The statement reads, 2 days ago, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry announced a pending increase in the price of rice due to several factors. In that release, the Minister of Commerce stated that based on continuing discussion with the importers and other stakeholders, it was agreed that adjustment will be made after reviewing all cost drivers that will necessitate further engagement. Subsequently, the President, His Excellency Joseph Joekai Sr., met with rice importers and other business stakeholders and predicated upon evolving possibilities, he took a decision that there will be no increase in the price of rice on the Liberian market. Meanwhile, the government of Liberia and the rice importers still remain engaged in addressing their concern, particularly regarding the increasing cost of doing business and bottlenecks as raised by them. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry is reassuring the public that there is no shortage of rice on the Liberian market or an increase in the price of the commodity as it is being speculated. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry is cautioning the general business community not to sell rice beyond the current market price. Any entity or individual found in hauling, hacking, or creating other forms of artificial shortage of the commodity on the market will face the full weight of the law. The inspectors of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry will be very vigilant in monitoring, inspecting all warehouses and business entities for compliance. And the statement is on the signature of the Minister of Commerce, Mr. Amin Bodak. We'll now take a question.
So, members of the press with questions, please from the queue. Please introduce yourself and give the name of the institution you report for.
So, I'm Francis K. Cooper. I report for the Liberia TV Network. Honorable Director, I listened to your expose, and one of the assessors said that the CSA doesn't actually responsible for the foreign service in terms of salary, payment. I want to know, or my institution want to know, which one of the government is responsible to pay the foreign service, because you are providing data statistics, activities here. So also, I also want to know how tangible or reliable is your data if you are not responsible for the foreign service. B, there was this recent issue.
One question to the president.
B, so there was a recent issue at the Ministry of Labor regarding some individuals who was employed by the minister from Labor County. And when these names were issued, there were 9 individuals. When the names were issued, according to media outlets, you said that because these individuals are from Labor County, so they will be employed because they have that same, tribal or county origin. So we want to know, are you actually doing your vetting based on county origin or based on credential activities? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Simano Upole and I report for Sky. So, Director, thank you for the presentation. But one of the things that I think that Liberian people want to know is that the intent of their job is to actually save money for government. So you try to get some rate of how much you have collected or how much you have saved during the period of the work, are you here to exactly tell how much have you saved through the blocking and dismissing people? Can you do that for me, please?
So, my name is James M. Bala, and I work for Region Africa in my county.
Please respect the police.
And so, our DG, my question is about the absentees. You have do all of your research analysis and you have found out that all of the goals have been out of this process, but there are people who the attendance list have captured 0, 1, 2. And I think in my mind, some of these absentees has been based on the issues of transportation. Will you mind, or what is the intent of the government in making sure that those entities that you are named to having the buses, means of transportation to come to work on time? Thank you.
Take those. Take those.
So it's 4 questions, right? Okay.
Thank you. My name is Anthony Williams. I work for State Radio. Honorable Director.
State Radio, please state clearly.
I happen to be one of those staff who went to the head count, and yeah, it was actually a very smooth process. The folks, in fact, asked me to hand over some documents that I should get from my school later. So I want to note that first of all. But the issue of hiring is one thing that leads to this entire ghosting and other things. And like the way you're making some very good reforms at the CSA, especially you made mention of migrating from the system you're using currently to another one. Do you also intend, which I think will help you, do you also intend to work with these institutions to help digitize their hiring processes to avoid this posting and other issues? And also, I looked at the list of attendance where I saw 0s and 1s of people going to work. Do you also intend working with these entities to create a digital attendance system so that you don't suffer for data like the way you were displaying here? And I overheard you saying you never have access to certain data and other things. This digitizing all of these systems is, I believe, will help your entity. Do you intend going in that direction, sir?
The last one.
Last one there?
Yeah.
The last one.
After he first.
Thank you so much. My name is Strogan Fama and I report for Spoon FM and Spoon Network. 2 concerns quickly. One, I did not hear you talk about pensioners. Recently, Director DG from the Liberia Broadcasting System, Eugene Fagon, he increased pension, their pension benefits. I don't know whether it was unilateral or it was in accordance with the CSA mandate. That's one. And secondly, I want to know, because the job you are doing right now is very tedious and it costs a lot of money to do, and you need the requisite requirements for the guys who are in the field. I want to know your source of funding right now, because you did say that you don't have any budget currently. So where you currently getting money to do this job that you are doing without a cent being given to you?
Thank you, Mr. Director General. My name is Joe William. I'm a freelance currently. The last time you were here, I put forth a complaint about this information. I have worked for several years as a journalist, but I had last mistreatment. I had to quit the job. I worked and I was not taking salary. Somebody was taking my salary. It's evident that SIB paid. How far have you gone with this investigation, sir?
Thank you.
Okay, so Joe, I will start with the last one and then go upwards. Joe, thank you so much. I remember Joe very well, vividly. Thank you so much. And Joe, you came up the last time when I was here, you mentioned this. You worked for, in fact, you mentioned the very last year you worked before leaving. Your name is on the payroll. and that you have a different person's account number, bank account number attached to your name. So you were working and your pay was going to that person. You said that, yes. So Joe, I don't want to tell you what we are doing in public. I want to invite you to the office. You will come and meet with me, the Deputy Director General for Human Resource Management, and in particular, he's the guy who's going to solve that problem for you. Yeah, so you will get all the facts surrounding whose account number is associated with your name and everything. Yeah, so we'll be able to take care of that. But thank you for the reminder once more. All right. So Trocon, you talk about pension there. I will tell you this about the pension system. Right now, we have about $737,000 that we need for handshake. Handshake is to first counsel the individuals to be pensioned so that they accept the reality that they met that qualification to be pensioned. And then after that, you need to give them handshake. That's where you prepare a package for them. We organize a befitting event retiring them. And I'm not talking about the pension benefits that they receive on a monthly basis. That alone is around 737 that I saw, but the number is increasing every day based on the number of qualified individuals' names that are submitted to the CSA. Probably from now to tomorrow, that amount will increase. But we submitted that amount to the Ministry of Finance. But here's the thing about the pension thing. For a few years back, the Ministry of Finance was deducting the contributions of individuals, but was not remitting that money to NASCA.
Yes, sir.
So people who are supposed to be retired now, no money. Because in the recent past, the previous administration, Ministry of Finance, was deducting the money from those people, but was not remitting the money to NASCA. So as I speak to you, I have written NASCA, and the individuals concerned, are very collaborative. They are doing the analysis of the total amount of money we are talking about that those people are supposed to be benefiting. So we are on the right track, Tricon, when it comes to the pension thing. The only unfortunate thing is that the money that is supposed to be readily available to retire, to pension these people is not there because the previous authorities at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning were not remitting to NASCA. That money is not there. We have to pay that money to NASCA. The second thing you intentionally mentioned the Director General of the Liberia Broadcasting System and said he increased pension. I don't know what that means when you say increased pension. Say that?
Pension benefits.
Pension benefits, he increased it. So the Director General is here. I will want the Director General to address that. So DG?
Yes.
Please.
I'm
so glad you came because I don't know how I was going to manage with this.
No, thank you for the opportunity. You know, I'm sure some of you in the media are laughing because I was Spoon, right? So I was with Spoon before I took the office. So Spoon should have come and asked me. They got my phone number. You won't know why you can't ask the CSA boss. Come to me. Yeah, I can be saying now your platform talking plenty. You see me in your own house to ask me. The man who from down the road, you ask the man. But again, I gotta be respectful to the Liberian people and answer. So it is my duty to provide the information. I have the decree that established the Liberian Broadcasting System. It's on my decks. All of you journalists can come, not only Spoon. We get 60% of our budget from the national government. The other 40% we have to raise, source, or whatever way we can find it for our operational costs and whatever we deem necessary. The law provides me the right, and I say the right, to handle my 40% any way, anyhow I feel like, as Director General. So as a person of compassion, a Liberian citizen, the Liberian government did not give me money for the pensioners. But the system decided to pay pensioners who had worked over a period of between 25 to 31 years. They were 8. Their total money for the month is $13,000. All 8 of them. Some of them making as low as $1,000 200 as I displayed on the screen before everyone to see. As Director General, and I caution my colleagues, no one should work for you for 31 years. This has nothing to do with government. 31 years, and you have discretionary spending power, and you have over $7 million Liberian dollars in your account, and you gave that person $1,200 a month. Something Liberian dollars. $1,200 Liberian dollars a month for a person that worked for you for 31 years. That is not even your lunch money. Eugene Lamy Fagon, sitting over a budget that spends beyond the imagination of anyone, will not give anybody less than $10 a month who has served me for 31 years. So, my reliance is the law. My reliance is what I have on the books to say I have that discretionary powers. So yes, as Director General of the Liberian Broadcasting System, I order that our operational monies, and if you want, I will show you in our account right now, we have over 107,000 United States dollars in our account. But since the year began, from January, we're yet to receive a dime from the government. I repeat, but we're sourcing our funding from our little commercials, our little sponsorship, those who pay, like my brother going to get Smarty. We are live on TV and radio. It should be paid for. But we're doing it gratis because it is the right of the Liberian people to be informed. And if the government will give us 60%, it is only fair that we give the government the airtime when they need it the most. So, I took that decision, and I have the law to back it. You can come to my office, I'll show you the law, and I'm in the process. Right now we have $7 million, Liberian dollars, in our account as I speak to you, that make part of this 400 and something thousand I'm talking about. By next week, I'm moving 980,000 into a separate account for the pensioners. And let me say this to you. Quarterly, I will take them to dinner. And the 8 pensioners, I will provide them health care until they die. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so Trokan, you got it. You got your answers. I provided a response to my question, to the question that you asked me, and the DG from the Liberia Broadcasting System did his. Thank you, DG. So Anthony.
No, that was source of funding for the
source of funding for what? For the ESRP? Yes. And I mentioned that when I was presenting. And I said that we do that because that's what we believe, that we should be able to take actions to address the problems that we have. And one of the critical problems we have is the payroll cleanup process. So when our people are being dispatched, the teams are being dispatched, I don't mind paying $100 to pay for gas. The Deputy Director General does that. He pays $50. Our other colleague Donald does that. He pays $50. My technical assistant, the last time he paid $200 just to dispatch the team. The directors, even the research M&E director, he contributes to dispatch the team. But here's the wonderful thing that happens. Every time our teams go to those places, those institutions are so kind to them. So kind to them. I will tell you, the Ministry of Health, the minister, when she heard that the team was on her way, the minister spoke with the team leader and said, we are here to receive you people, and we are going to be responsible. We are going to be responsible for your lunch, your refreshment, for the time you are here. I was just about to mention that. For the time you are here. They came here to the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism. We don't care about lunch because they take care of them. Liberia Broadcasting System, we don't. They take care of them. Liberians are overwhelmingly embracing these reform initiatives. Hardly everyone is contributing. Now, the point we're trying to make is that as little as $244,000 will save us millions of dollars. And so we have no doubts that the government through the Ministry of Finance will make that money available like yesterday so that we can dispatch our teams across the entire country. We did not bring the biometric cake. Did we bring it? Okay, so we have 50 biometric kits that we are going to load the system into. And those kits are going to be used, not the computers they are using. If you go next door right now, you see all of them sitting, they are using computers with webcams. That's what they're using. But we already have in-country 50 biometric kits from somebody who just saw what we were doing. And the person came and said, we have 50 biometric kits, you can pay as little as this amount, we give them to you. Brand new, they haven't been used before. That's the extent to which Liberians are excited and want to support this initiative. So when we get the little 244K to do this exercise, we will get those kits. We will deploy our teams with those kits. So I just want to let you know that this is what we call the Liberian spirit. That support. That's what we're doing. That's how we're sourcing the funding right now to do that. And the people who are doing the job are not asking us for DSC. One of the first time, they're not asking for anything, daily subsistence allowance. You know how long they stay at the entity? The DG Fagon can tell you. They spend the entire day, sometimes they stay there up to 7 p.m., 8 p.m. They stay there. But they have never come to me and said, DG, today I'm not going because I don't have it. No, we have nothing to pay them. We just do it, they just do it in the context of their job. So Anthony, you talk about the haircount process and you talk about working on digitizing our processes. Excellent. As I speak to you at the cabinet, that's one of the presentations we are doing. We have a Liberian firm, because I believe in the Liberianization policy. We have a Liberian firm that will be doing a presentation at the cabinet retreat on our, what we refer to as the human resource management system in one place. Yes, it's going to be, you asked the question, didn't you? So, so that human resource management system in one place is going to capture everything, all our modules. Employment, everything will be digitized. Performance management, digitized. Everything. Our testing, we are about to roll our new testing system. Is digitized. And Liberians from anywhere in the world will be able to write the test. We have about 80 positions. Each position is a job family. For example, when we say accountant, we need accountant, all the different types of accountants is broken down when you go to write the test. Everything is consistent with the requirement. We'll soon be rolling that out. We'll be rolling out the system. But we're going to have everything in one place. We're going to digitize the whole system. We're going to do that. So, James, you talk about absentees and you talk about transportation. If CSA can provide some support in that respect, so we can reduce this whole thing of people staying away from the job. It's interesting. People sign up for the job, they must do the job. And the institutions are responsible to provide those services. That's not even a reason for being absent from the job. That's not a reason for being absent from the job. So CSA does not provide these kinds of logistical support to other entities. That's not part of our mandate. Our mandate is to do personnel management. Our mandate by our ICE is to centralize personnel management across government, and we are the chief advisor to the government of Liberia on all human resource matters. That's what we do. Emmanuel, you talk about how much we have saved. I'm not sure if you were in the room, but if you were in the room, I'm not also sure you're going to ask this question because we projected it, we screened it. And just what we talk about is around $2 million that we have saved without anything. But our $2 million is dropping the bucket because a few weeks from now, the number of entities where we are conducting haircounts, that number is going to swell so exponentially. And it's going to be significant enough to break down. Yeah. So, Francis, you talk about CSA is not responsible for foreign services. Oh, that's the foreign service? No. So, they take care of their own budget. When it comes to the foreign service, they take care of their foreign service staff. It's not CSA. But notwithstanding, there are conversations that will be initiated in that respect to see if we can bring all of them in the national payroll system. You also mentioned about Ministry of Labor. I'm shocked. You say I mentioned in the communication that people from Nima County that were recommended that won't be considered. I don't know where you read that. because I have not written anything of that nature.
So,
I have not written anything of that nature. This is so untrue. It's so unacceptable. And I thought that you would have read. Really, I thought. It's unfortunate that you will mention MICAT. I hate to have these kinds of conversations when we call it counted names, talking ethnicity, and because our work is non-partisan. We don't do politics. We don't talk politics. Yeah, we work for Liberians. We don't care about your political alignment or wherever you come from. Never has the civil service agency written any head of entity or any agency and mentioned anything about country of origin or political alignment. No sentiments of any nature. That is not true. It's untrue. That is so sorry. It's unfortunate I have to mention the word diabolical. That is diabolical. And I take that very seriously because it's a lie. It's a blatant lie. And I wish you never mentioned that, Francis. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for the opportunity. Again, the media, we appreciate you a whole lot. The Civil Service Agency is going to work with you continuously because we have to be partners in this endeavor. And thanks to the Ministry of Information, Culture, Affairs, and Tourism, I love this partnership. And we cherish it, we will keep it. Thank you.
Focus on Liberia, that was the Director General of the Civil Service Agency giving us updates on various agencies in Liberia. My name is Gwendolyn
The price of rice, as of this afternoon, the government of Liberia announced that the price of rice remains unchanged. And the proposed increase that was anticipated on the 21st is not going to go ahead. The government has taken siege of the matter. Thank you very much. We will close now and we hopefully will resume next Tuesday.